Alright, so P5X Global, if you guys can't already tell, I kind of quit the game for Global because the game has a lot of problems, and of course, I've been spending a lot of my time doing other things. If you can look at my upload schedule, which I apologize for. I've been reading a lot of Mushoku Tensei, and I've also been playing through Persona 5 Tactica at the same time, but today I want to kind of just discuss my problems with P5X Global. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, is it the gem count or is it the 6-month standard banner thing going on? And I mean, to be honest, yeah, that is definitely the problem. I also have some very small nitpicks that I do have a problem with the game for, and one of the main things I'm honestly going to say is some of the small stuff that they do with the rewards. Now, a very good example of this is Velvet Trials. Why did they nerf Velvet Trials? Or more like, why did they make Velvet Trials so much harder on Global? To me, that never made sense because early on, like, being able to do Velvet Trials was a very, big source of income for, gems and stuff. But on Global, they decided to buff Velvet Trials and make it a lot harder, which prevents people from getting all the gems that they need, and that is a problem to me personally, right? Because that's a little greedy. Why try to change it from Global from CN? I don't know. I think the way CN had it was perfectly fine. I think over time, yes, when more characters came out, you were able to clear more and everyone's accounts will be stronger, and yes, I do understand that, but I don't understand the reasoning behind trying to buff everything on Global. Didn't really make sense to me in terms of rewards. Also, the redistribution of rewards, specifically for our confidants, was also a really weird change in my opinion. Now I know a lot of people are gonna kind of look at this and just be like, well, it's not that bad, right? And when you really think about it, early on, you do lose out on so much gems because of this. And this is something that I personally have a problem with, This is a personal gripe. I don't know why they couldn't have kept the rewards the same. Why? I don't know. It's a lot of these things that Sega is doing that is it may not seem very big scale-wise, except for the standard banner characters, but a lot of this is flat out greedy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why they decided to do this for Global, but for whatever reason that they're doing it, I didn't like it. I hated it. And yeah, and honestly, the only benefit I can get from playing Global, personally, this is someone who is playing TW. I've been playing TW since Futaba came out. I've been playing the Asia version since then. And this server is just miles better. The few things that Global does good is the outfits. The exclusive outfits are sold forever. Some of the character buffs are nice. I'm not going to really give them too much credit for the character buffs because Makoto, for example, I don't have Makoto on this account, but Makoto, for example, she got a couple of stat changes, stat buffs. I think her skill 1 and skill 2 also got buffed, but it doesn't really change the way you fundamentally play her very much, which is I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because a lot of people are making this out to be hey, they're being generous, they're buffing their old characters, and it's we already get stuff like this. I think a really good example of a character who just got outright buffed is Haru. Haru got a huge buff in the Asia versions of the game, and she became really good. And why they don't do buffs like this for, Global, I don't know. Makoto isn't receiving these types of buffs that, for example, Haru had, where she was actually just game changing. She became so good. And we have to keep in mind, Global is still early, but these buffs are so small that they don't really mean that much. Now, I'm not trying to just say that it's a bad thing that they shouldn't buff them at all, but if you're gonna buff a character, I would try to fix them fundamentally. I think Yui is a great example of this because TW did get the same update, and Yui still isn't used. Nobody uses Yui at all. The only time you would use her if you have max dupes, which, let's be honest, a lot of people don't have that. And so it's why can't we get buffs on Global? If you're gonna be buffing a lot of these characters, tune them to be somewhat viable more in the future. That is another thing. If they're going to do that, I want Yui to be a lot more better, I guess, in the general sense. they're doing global exclusive buffs, in quotation marks, global exclusive. The Queen buff was global exclusive. The Yusuke outfit was global exclusive. Now, if they're gonna do stuff like this, like, make it significant enough, and global just doesn't do that for me. And not to say that Asia is doing any better in terms of buffs. Like, Yui is still kind of mid, unfortunately, but I would say overall, I don't think it's just worth my time playing on both servers. Now, I'm not going to sit here and doom post global and say that, hey, global is the worst thing in the world, but Sega really did a terrible job at managing global. From 1.0 was the only patch I can say confidently that was like, everything was good. The moment 1.1 came around, the game just took a huge slope downward, and that just sucks. Like, 1.1, we started to see the accelerate banners. We saw the whole Marion situation and the standard banner characters. They want to keep it 6 months. Why? I don't know, because this creates huge FOMO for people, because if you don't get the standard characters now, you may not get them for a long time. Futaba will be out before we get these characters back. So it's like characters like Marion, soon to be Phoebe in 1.4. You will not be able to get these characters, especially for those who want to pull for all the characters free to play. Like, it's been hard, especially the early patches. We didn't get that many gems in the early patches. I think now the global gem count is like somewhat good in order, you know, to pull for characters, but 1.1, 1.2 in terms of gem amount was pretty mediocre, I won't lie. And so that's just a problem overall. Now, I don't have this problem with TW, and I think the reason why I say this is because TW in general is just far more developed, and that's what I've played the longest. And if I'm going to put money into a game, I'm going to put it into TW. TW has a lot of the things that I'm looking for, at least for a gacha game, right? P5X isn't a perfect game. I'm not going to say that I sit here and like really enjoy P5X. I think it's good enough for me to like withstand it, but global is not a great way to handle a game like this, because this game fundamentally, and you know, compared to the other gacha games, are pretty good, but I don't like the way they're treating it. So yeah, that's my entire ordeal rant thing about global. I don't hate global. I don't want you guys to get that from me, but I do want to say that global is very mismanaged, could be so much better, and so I might as well just drop the game, because my free time is much better spent elsewhere. I can spend my free time playing the KR, CN, TW servers. I could spend my time playing more mainline SMT games. I could spend my time reading Mushoku Tensei. I could do anything else. So that's it. That's about my rant. Also, facecam stuff. This is something that I am experimenting with. I'm not sure how I feel about the facecam stuff. I mean, one, I just woke up, so like I'm not very, you know, not very used to like waking up, being on camera and stuff. But if you guys enjoyed camera stuff, the camera, see me like half awake right now, then feel free to just let me know in the comment section. But anyways, I gotta do my outro part, so pretty much all I'm gonna say is thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy this type of content, any Mega 10, any Persona content, then feel free to drop a sub on the channel. It would be much appreciated. If you guys are interested in discussing anything Persona, Mega 10, it could be anime, it could be even Honkai Star Rail, then feel free to join the Discord server. It'll be linked, I don't know, somewhere here. I'll put an infographic, but it'll also be linked in the description as well. Anyways, that's everything that I really have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great night or day.